हरे कृष्ण। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय। Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री श्रीवास ठाकुर की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4th, Chapter 21st. Instructions by Maharaj Prithu, Text 20th. Please repeat. Charu chitrapadam shloshnam, mrushtam gudham aviklavam, sarvesham upakarartham, tada anuvadan iva. Charu chitrapadam shloshnam, mrushtam gudham aviklavam, sarvesham upakarartham, tada anuvadan iva. Charu chitrapadam shloshnam, mrushtam gudham aviklavam, sarvesham upakarartham, tada anuvadan iva.
Charu chitrapadam slakshnam, mrishtam gudam aviklavam, sarvesham pakarartam, tadha anuvadantiva. Charu chitrapadam slakshnam, mrishtam gudam aviklavam, sarvesham pakarartam, tadha anuvadantiva.
Mataji. Charu chitrapadam shlakshnam, mrushtam gudham aviklavam,
sarvesham pakarartam,
tada anuvadanniva. Word to word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Charu, beautiful. Chitrapadam, flowery. Slakshnam, very clear. Mrushtam, very great. Gudham, meaningful. Aviklavam, without any doubt. Sarvesham, for all. Upakara artham, just to benefit them. Tada, at that time. Anuvadan, began to repeat. Eva, like. Translation. Maharaj Prithu's speech was very beautiful, full of metaphorical language, very clearly understandable and very pleasing to hear. His words were all grave and certain. It appears that when he spoke, he expressed his personal realization of the absolute truth in order to benefit all who were present. Purport. Maharaj Prithu was beautiful in his external bodily features, and his speech was also very glorious in all respects. His words, which were nicely composed in highly metaphorical ornamental language, were pleasing to hear and were not only mellow, but also very clearly understandable and without doubt or ambiguity. मम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरों वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजाता सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to our morning Srimad Bhagavatam class discussion. Before we begin, I thought I will just speak a little bit about Srivas Thakur, today being his appearance day. Isn't it? Morning it was not announced, but I saw in the calendar, it shows that today is the appearance day. So Srivas Thakur appeared today on this planet Earth. He's Srila Narad Muni, who in Chaitanya Leela, when Krishna comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srivas Thakur comes as, Narad Muni comes as Srivas Thakur. And in his house only, every day, there were kirtans, every night rather, for last one full year, from 1509 to 1510, just 1 year prior to Mahaprabhu's taking sannyas. Otherwise also in the daytime, there were kirtans in his house, whole day. He was very, very Krishna conscious. And he is the member of the Panchatattva, Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivas. Srivas is the fifth personality. So he is the devotee of the Lord. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam, Bhakta Rupa is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhakta Swarupa is Nityan Prabhu, Bhakta Avatar is Advaita Acharya, Bhakta Akhyam, one who is called or famous as devotee, is Narad Muni, and Bhakta Shakti is Gadadhar Pandit. So he is the devotee of the Lord, and Narad Muni, as he is the Bhakti Shakti of the Lord. Yesterday we were discussing, today also we are discussing about Prithu Maharaj, is the administrative potency of the Lord. So devotional potency of the Lord is in the form of Narad Muni. And Narad Muni has delivered so many great souls. We know Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, 10,000 Haryeshwas and 1,000 Shavalasvas, 11,000 sons of Daksha. Then Valmiki Maharshi also, he became disciple of Narad Muni, Mrugari. So many great personalities have been the disciples of Narad Muni. And he preaches very amazingly in different circumstances to different personalities in different ways. Here also in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, he was very concerned that this Nimai Pandit, who is a great scholar, and he should become a devotee. Once when Srivas Thakur was coming on the streets of Navadvip, and Nimai Pandit was going with his students, that time Srivas Thakur said to this Nimai Pandit that, why are you so arrogant? Because one of the names of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Uddhata Shiramani. He is the crest jewel of all the arrogant people. When Lord is there in any quality, he is expert, he is the topmost. So Srivas Thakur asked him, how can you be so arrogant? Our knowledge makes one humble. You are so proud. Why? Knowledge reveals that Krishna is the Supreme Personal Godhead and one should surrender to Him. So why are you not surrendering to Krishna? So Nimai Pandit very humbly says that unless I get blessings of great devotees like you, Srivas Thakur, how could I become a devotee? So I need your blessings. So Nimai Pandit was very humble. And sure enough, eventually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became, he's Krishna only, but he became devotee in Gaya of Shripad Ishwarpuri. He became devotee of Krishna. And when he returned in the house of Shuklambar Brahmachari, he revealed the distress of his heart, how he is feeling separation from Krishna now. And that was heard by Ramai Pandit. When he came to early morning in the house of, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed his heart that I will tell you all in the evening tomorrow in the house of Shuklambar Brahmachari. House means it was just a kutir only. I will reveal the distress of my heart. And that news was taken by Ramai Pandit. Early morning hours in the house of Srivas Thakur. There was one creeper that was growing on the house of Srivas Thakur. Every day there would be enough number of flowers for all the devotees to pick and collect and offer to their deities at their homes. Exactly same number of flowers would grow. That was the thing. So they were picking flowers from their creeper. That is the time Ramai Pandit comes and he says, I have very great news. In fact, he was smiling also. So devotees, Srivas Thakur asked, you appear very happy. What's the news? He said, I have such a happy news to tell you all that Nimai Pandit has become a devotee. Haribo! Everybody was ecstatic. So then Srivas Thakur made that famous statement, let the family of Vaishnavas grow, expand. Because this family should grow, Vaishnavas. Ordinarily also materialist people are very fond of growing their family. They will have so many brothers, sisters, joint family and so many children, they get married, they have many children. So people like this biological expansion of the family. But ideal is spiritual expansion of the family, preaching and many more devotees joining. So Srivas Thakur was very happy. Once when little later, when Nityanand Prabhu joins in the house of Srivas Thakur, he is residing there. One day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just jokingly says, hey Srivas, that how come you are keeping this Avadhut? His caste is not known, nobody knows whether he is Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. He is a mad fellow, Nityanand Prabhu. Why are you keeping him in his house? So then Srivas Thakur says that he is Balram and he is your very dear devotee, dear friend. So I just respect Nityananda Prabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he hears the glories of Nityananda Prabhu from the mouth of Srivas Thakur, he becomes very happy. Other times, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Srivas, I don't find you going for job or for any business. I see that you are all the time here. You have such a huge family. There were 5 brothers, Nalini, Srivas, Srinidhi, Shripati, Shri Ram, 5 brothers and their wives, their children, huge family. And I don't see you going for any livelihood, earning something. So Srivas Thakur, how come? So Srivas Thakur said, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what does that mean? He said, by the third clapping, 3 times I will clap. If I don't get what I need, then I will just drown myself in the Ganges. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made that famous statement that even if Lakshmi goes begging door to door, in your house, O Srivas, there will never be any shortage of anything. Abundantly, you will get everything. Lakshmi going begging door to door, will it ever happen? So that means Srivas will never have any shortage. Once when in the night Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, Srivas Thakur heard sobbing, some crying in the next room. So he went there, leaving the dancing arena. He went inside and he saw his wife and other ladies, neighboring ladies, they were crying. And in the middle of the bed, his son was lying, apparently unconscious. So he asked what happened. So the lady said, Srivas, your son is dead. So when Srivas heard that, he was not shocked, but he said, that's okay. Everybody has to die. Every born person has to die. So, but you don't cry so much because you are crying loudly. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstasy will be disturbed. His dancing will be disturbed. I can't tolerate. If that disturbs Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing, I will go and drown myself in the Ganges. So don't cry loudly. If at all, then you cover your mouth and maybe little sobbing, and it should not be disturbing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstasy. The women were shocked. How can Srivas be like this? That he doesn't want to disturb Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstasy, but then here the son is dead. He is not worried about it, bothered about it. Anyway, Srivas Thakur came back and he started dancing in the kirtan. Dancing went on for several hours. Early morning hours, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I feel that there is some kind of distress in the house. Is there some problem here? Shiva said, oh Lord, when you are present in my house, how can there be any distress? No question. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not clear, so then some devotee said, Mahaprabhu, there was death of Srivas Thakur's son in the night. Mahaprabhu said, when was it? So then he was told some 7.5 hours before. He said, so long back, why didn't anyone tell me then? Then Srivas Thakur was told, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was told that Srivas had warned all the devotees, nobody should cry loudly or tell you because your ecstasy should not be disturbed. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard it, he was completely moved. How much Srivas loves me. Then he said, okay, can I have the darshan of that child? Where is he? So then Mahaprabhu was led to that next room and their devotees were crying, some ladies. That time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told the son, you please rise, get up. And the son rose. And then Mahaprabhu said, why did you leave this house, Srivas? Then that child says, the Atma Tattva, science of self-realization, that, oh Lord, I am just your child wandering through millions of species of life. And I was fortunate to be born in the house of Srivas Thakur, having such parents, devotee parents. It's a great fortune. And my term in this body is over now. I need to go to next. So please bless me to head to my next destination. And again the child fell unconscious or dead. Then his body was taken in procession in Kirtan to Ganges and final rites were done. That time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, how can I give up association of such very loving devotees like Srivas? Indicate, nobody understood what did it mean, but Nityananda Prabhu understood that this is hinting at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's upcoming sannyas. So Srivas Thakur could not tolerate the pain of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not being in Navadvip Dham. After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, he settled in Jagannath Puri. So then Srivas Thakur went to Kumar Hatta, his place, and he was residing there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited him there also. So Srivas Thakur is a pure devotee, great devotee of the Lord. So many other pastimes are there, but these are few important ones in which we see Srivas Thakur is such a pure devotee of the Lord. Mahaprabhu chose his courtyard of his house for his Sankirtan pastime. Mahaprabhu came for spreading Sankirtan. Yagyai Sankirtana Praye, to spread Sankirtan. Sankirtan Leela of Mahaprabhu is not different from Ras Leela of Shri Krishna. So that Sankirtan pastime was happening in Srivas' house every day, every night also. So Srivas is very great. Shri Srivas Thakur ki jai. So coming to this shloka that is there for 2 days, it's a part of our Bhakti Vaibhav course also. Yesterday we discussed up to 20th, up to 19th. 20th is this last one, talking about Prithu Maharaj. This section 11 to 20th is about the bodily beauty features of Prithu Maharaj as well as his activities. So in this particular shloka 20th, different adjectives are used for his speech. Charu. Prithu Maharaj's speech was very beautiful. Chitrapadam, flowery, full of metaphorical language. So there is prose and there are poems. So poetic words, they have to be very special. The metaphorical language will be there. Shlashnam. Shlashnam means very clear, clearly understandable. And Gudham. Gudham is meaningful. Also Aviklavam, without any doubt, very pleasing to hear, understandable, clearly understandable and very pleasing to hear. Sarvesham upakarartham, his words were all grave and certain, Gudham and Aviklavam. It appears that when he spoke, he expressed his personal realization of the absolute truth in order to benefit all who were present. Sarvesham upakarartham tada anuvadan iva. So everything is focused on speech only. So today our discussion will be culture of speech and some other things like don'ts of speech and do's of speech. Vidhi and Nishedh in Sanskrit. Vidhi means do's, some things to be done, and Nishedh means don'ts, some things to be avoided. So first we'll discuss don'ts of speech because this is very important. Otherwise we pollute the ether of Lord Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Shabdakhe Paurusham Drushu. In the ether, I am sound. Just like here in this temple hall, we have ether. That's why when I am opening my lips, some sound is reaching you all. If ether is not present, you won't be able to hear anything. Even if I keep shouting at the high pitch. So that ether belongs to Krishna. He says, Bhumirapo anolo vayu kham mano buddhi revacha ahankari tiyam me binna prakriti rashtada. Earth, water, air, fire, ether, mind, intelligence and false ego. These are my separated energies. Hmm? So this ether of Krishna should not be polluted by unnecessarily speaking. First of all, one should speak only truth. Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat. But truth also should be spoken in a palatable way. Ma bruyat satyam apriyam. Don't speak the truth which is unpalatable. Sometimes the truth is very bitter. Like we see in the hospitals and some other places. Like sometimes the person is dead. So then his relative, some very close relative who is not nearby, who is staying little away. So he's told, sir or madam, your this relative, he's unconscious like that. Could you please come quickly? Like that. So he doesn't know that person is dead. He's not told only. Those relatives nearby, they know. I was informed like that about my father some 2 years back. That, hey, one brahmachari told me, Kishore Gorampur is calling you and your father seems has some problem, something, he fainted or something like that. So I went immediately to brahmachari ashram room and I took my mobile. Mobile was there. So my brother was trying to call me. So then I picked up and I called my brother. And my brother told me, because he knew this fellow is brahmachari, he will be able to tolerate. And he has been speaking about death so many times. So anyway, my brother is elder brother, so he likes to test me also. So he will use everything, and he told me, "Father is no more," like that. Then I immediately left for hometown. So such news is sometimes not told directly because it may be very shocking, and sometimes people even have heart attack. I heard when this YSR Reddy, Andhra chief minister, when he whatever, I will not tell the details, but when he left body, so many of his followers, he was a big politician, so some of them died it seems out of heart attack. They loved him so much. So satyam bruyat priyam bruyat ma bruyat satyam priyam. So if it is unpalatable, it should not be spoken. When Vidurji arrived in Hastinapur and he was well received by Yudhishthira Maharaj inquired about how is Krishna, how is this, how is that and all that. But Vidurji, though he knew that Krishna is no more, he has left for Golok Vrindavan, still he did not tell Yudhishthira Maharaj, thinking that when the right time comes, he will come to know anyway. And we see also in the 15th chapter of first canto that Krishna's leaving this world story is there. Yudhishthira Maharaj happened to see so many bad omens in the outer space, in the sky, in the water, and on ground. So he understood something, which should not have happened has happened. And sure enough, after 7 months of being outside of Hastinapur and being in Dwarka, Arjun returned. So, and his face was morose. Yudhishthira Maharaj asked him several questions, and towards the end he said, "Is it that Lord Krishna has left for the spiritual world?" And Arjun also says, "Vanchitoham Harina Rajan." Yes, I have been deprived of the association of Lord Hari, my dear King Yudhishthira. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj comes to know. So we have to avoid certain speech. And in general, materialistic speech should be always avoided. It is compared by Prabhupada to croaking of toads. In the rainy season, the toad will be croaking, row, 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 thinking that he will attract the member of the opposite sex. Some she toad will get attracted and he will have sex. But rather, many times, the snake who is blind, who cannot see, gets that sound and he understands, okay, frog is in this direction. He goes and gulps down the frog, eats the frog. So that is what is mundane speech. That leads to death only. The more we speak, we come closer to death only. Kala Sarpa engulfs one. Because time is passing. The clock is ticking. These clocks don't tick. But if you have that, what you call analogous or whatever, this is digital watch. But analogous, then if you go very close, you'll hear. Or in the night when we are sleeping, tick, 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 tick. With every second, that second hand moving, and the clock is ticking, and that gives. And our heart is also beating. It has certain number of beatings fixed with birth only, and when the count is over, the heart will stop beating. No more beating. So we have to know that Kala Sarpa comes and engulfs one. So one should not speak unnecessarily. That leads to envy also. Speaking too much leads to envy. So one should not speak too much. and should not pollute the ether of the Lord. In Bhagavatam it is said, Ayurharti vai pumsam udyan astancha yan aso tasya rute yat kshano nita uttama shloka vartaya. That Ayurharti vai pumsam, now sun has risen. When I was chanting, when I sat for chanting, whatever time, 5:40, that time sun had not risen. But then after some time, there we can see, when I was seeing, and I saw that sunlight was visible on those walls there, outside building. So sun was rising, and now sun is going. I don't know which is eastern direction, but whichever here. So sun has risen here, and slowly, slowly it will go like this. It will come on the head, and by evening, whatever time, 6:37, he will set on the western horizon. And with that, one day is removed from our life. 1st April 2024, gone, gone forever. No power, nobody in the creation, the multimillionaires, politicians, presidents of the nations, nobody can bring it back. It's gone, gone forever. Ayushya Shana Ekopi, Labhet Swarna Kotibi. Chanakya Pandit says, one moment lost from life is lost forever. And even if you are ready to pay, are able to pay millions of gold coins, you cannot get it back. Just like 1st April, gone, gone forever. Nobody can get it back. Money lost, you can earn again. You can get it back. Property lost, you can get it back. Time gone, cannot be achieved back. It's gone forever. So Ayur Harti Vai Pumsan Udyan Astancha Yan Aso. With every rising and setting of the sun, we come one day closer to death. But Tasya Rute Yat Kshanonita. Rute means except. Except for those who are always engaged in speaking about the Lord. Tasya Rute Yat Kshanonita. Those who engage every moment in Uttama Shloka Vartya, in the glorification of the Supreme Lord. That's why in that first verse of the Nectar of Instruction only, Prabhupada writes in the purport, a preacher of Krishna Katha is beyond the clutches of death. Every time we speak about Krishna, we come closer to Krishna. Our heart will be submerged in the greatness of Krishna, sweetness of Krishna, and we come closer to Krishna. Death is nothing for a devotee but just opening up the doors and he enters in Golok Vrindavan. Whereas for materialistic person who uses whole of his life in speaking mundane things, materialistic talks, such a person with death, he goes down. He will enter in animal species, he will have to go to hell and so many other bad things. But for a devotee, death is welcome. Krishna only comes as death. So he just goes back to Godhead. So one should not speak unnecessarily. In his instructions to Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Gram mein katha na shunibe, gram mein varta na kohibe, bhala na khaibo ar, bhala na poribe. So he is saying that gram mein katha na shunibe, village talks. Here is city, people are mad after money, so they don't have time for speaking sometimes. But in the villages, people are idle only, nothing to do, and they will gather in some square somewhere or pan shop somewhere. Some kind of table will be there, people will sit there and they will talk all village talk. What happened to that girl? She was in love affair with that boy. What is happening? And that man, what happened to his property? His neighbor or his brother was fighting with him. And what happened to that politician? All village talk. It's called Gramya Katha or Gramya Varta. Gramya Katha na shunibe, don't hear that. Gramya Varta na kohibe. Don't speak village or this mundane talk. No. Bhalana khaibo, don't eat palatable dishes also. Bhalana paribo, don't wear opulent clothes. Wear simple clothes. Clothes are meant for covering the body. We are human beings, not animals. Animals just remain naked. Human beings are supposed to cover different parts of their bodies. So that should be covered with clothes. Simple. There is no question of wearing opulent clothes to show off to people. Just see. And whole of the world also goes by these external things so much. How the person looks, what's the color of the skin, how is the height, how is the shape of the body, and how are the clothes and the tie, and what kind of nonsense. The tie, what is the reason? God knows. And Prabhupada was in the Western, some university, and Prabhupada was giving class. At the end, one boy got up and said, Sir, why do you have that ponytail at the back of your head? So Prabhupada very promptly said, and why do you have that tail hanging around your neck? And he was wondering because he was wearing coat and tie. So he lifted his tie and he was looking. First time in life he had been forced to think, why is the tail hanging around his neck? And he could not answer only. Prabhupada said, sit down. So crazy civilization. What they are wearing, they don't even know. So clothes are just for covering the body. So okay, we have to remove the shirt. So there have to be buttons. Button you open and you remove. But after you wear the shirt, then it will be exposing your chest. So there should be button. You close it, cover the body. Finished. But unnecessarily people are having so many cuts here. They will have cut. Why the cut? Eh? All foolishness. So that should not be there. To Raghunath Bhatta Goswami also, about him it is said, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I think, ग्राम्य वार्ता न सुने ना कहे जिह्वाय कृष्ण कथा पूजा देते अष्ट प्रहर जाए. Another Goswami, our 6 Goswamis are so exalted. So about Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, it is said, Gramya Varthana Shuni. He would not like to hear this gossip, village talks. Na kahe jivhai, nor would he speak village talks with his jiva, with his tongue. Krishna Katha Puja Dite, speaking about Krishna Katha or hearing Krishna Katha, Puja, worshipping Krishna Adite, etc. Ashta Prahara Jai. How much time would be spent totally? Ashta Prahar. One Prahar is of 3 hours. So 8 Ashta Prahar means 3 into 8. So 24 hours were engaged like this only. So there is no question of wasting time or speaking something nonsensical. First verse of Shri Upadeshamrut only says, Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jivha vegam udara upastha vegam etan vegan yo vishaheta dhiraha sarvam api mam prithvim sashishyat. That the first urge only is Vacho vegam. In fact, his holiness Bhakti Rasamana Maharaj was telling that prasadam, if we eat, jivha vegam, how much you will eat? Tasty, palatable foodstuff is there, some favorite item is there, shrikhand, unlimited shrikhand is there in feast. Eat shrikhand, then you will be khanda. You will be broken. Oh, I can't eat now. Stomach problem, stomach is overstuffed, like that. So it's not possible to go beyond particular. Even sex urge also, one may go for sex, there is also limit there. But vacho vegam, the urge to speak, there is no limit in one sense, there is no control over it. We don't understand how much we speak. So speaking about Krishna, no problem. Prabhupada defines maun means speaking all the time about Krishna. But mundane subject matters, one should not speak. So vacho vegam, it's urge. Urge to speak leads to speech. And speech leads to envy. So one should not, that's why one should control this urge. Maun Vrat is better not speak. Prabhupada condemns the Maunadhari sadhus. Sometimes if you go to sadhu, it will be written on a slate in front of them. Maun Vrat. He'll be sitting like this. So anybody who wants to ask anything to that sadhu, he sees Maun Vrat. This fellow will not speak. But Prabhupada says that he writes so many literatures, so-called spiritual literature, and all the garbage of his heart comes out not with his mouth, with his tongue, but through his writing, through his pen. So they spoil the ether of the Lord, or they pollute the people through their writings. Though they have Maundrat, but they spoil others' consciousness. So Maundrat is better in that sense. If we don't have anything meaningful to speak, better shut up your mouth, as it is said. Just keep quiet. Sometimes in the schools, the children are too talkative. Children, they'll talk like anything. And then the teacher will say, shut up. In our Maharashtra, it was, Tondachi Ghadi and Tonda or board and Hatachi Ghadi. Like this, we have to, all children. You have to, because if you don't keep finger on your lips, then the children will anyway speak. But they have to be grossly reminded. Your lips should not open. That is a very forceful treatment. In school, it's fine as a part of discipline. But how to stop elderly people who keep opening mouth and keep speaking so much? In Bhagavatam also it is said, Yadvachas chitra padam harer yasho jagat pavitram pragrunita karhichit tadvayasam tirthamushanti manasaha nayatraham saha nuramanti ushikshaya. So he says that those words which are not describing the name, fame, qualities, pastimes of the Lord are only unto the place of pilgrimage for crows. And they just pollute everyone. So many newspapers, so many people are mad after reading newspapers. And newspapers are sold like anything. If you know, early morning, 2 o'clock, 1:30, 2:30, those vehicles filled with so many varieties of newspapers. They are taken from one part of the city to another, and people First thing they will want, even when they are rising from the bed, they want tea and they want news to read. What is that news all about? Birth, old age, disease, death, adhyatmik, adi bhautik, adi daivik, klesh. These seven things are only described. There is no eighth thing in that. Who was born and who died, how he died and how he was murdered, and how somebody old person and he took part in some Olympic race and he stood first and then died there. Something like all crazy things. It has no meaning to one's life. If you don't read that, you don't miss anything. But unfortunately, because Jiva is very eager, some inquisitive is there, inquisitiveness with the human beings particularly. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. But if that is not done, directed in that direction, then Athato Bhayankar Jigyasa. All dangerous inquiry is there. And then he says, Atyahara Prayasasya Prajalpo Niyamagraha. Six things which are detrimental for spiritual advancement. So Prajalpa also is one thing. Speaking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. We can speak necessarily. Just like we have our Art of Mind Control seminar. In the beginning of that seminar, we have several slides dedicated to the statistics, the what's happening in the world, how the gun sale is on increase, how the crime rate is increasing, then people divorce rate is increasing, the crime rate is increasing. All kinds of statistics are there in the world. What's happening? How almost 75% of the marriages in America end up in divorce in first 3 years. So it looks like mundane news, but it is not, because it is going to take one's thinking in a particular direction. That all these problems are because of uncontrolled mind. Then how to control the mind? That is the remaining part, later part of that seminar. And then we bring it to mantra also. Manastrayate iti mantra. So talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matter is called prajalpa. But necessarily one can speak. Once one, Formula One race driver. They have that fast cars, flat cars are there, and these fellows who go with high speed competition is there. So one person like that came, and Prabhupada asked him. So he was introduced. This is that Formula One car race car driver. So Prabhupada said, "Oh, really? So what kind of cars you have?" Then he started explaining this way, that way, and what happens. And he was in ecstasy because that is his field. And Prabhupada said, "Are there some problems in the cars?" And then he said, "Yes, the tires get flat and this happens, that happens, some accident, all that." And Prabhupada heard him for almost 1 hour or so. Devotees were thinking, why Prabhupada is hearing this prajalpa of this fellow? But Prabhupada was very clever and very intelligent. So after hearing all that, then his stuff was over. How much he will speak in one sense. Then Prabhupada said, just like you are talking about this car, our body is also like a car. And we are the souls. And then Prabhupada started his talk. And he had to hear. And he was happy to hear also because he was heard. Now he is ready to hear Prabhupada. And Prabhupada kept on speaking for more than 1 hour about soul and Krishna, etc. So when we can, they say na, just like घी जब सीधे उंगली से नहीं निकले, टेढ़े उंगली से निकलना चाहिए. Just like a hook. So a preacher has to first strike relationship with the person, some friendship. So sometimes we may ask, what's your name, what do you do, what's your profession, this, that, like that. But that is only to very soon connect it to Krishna, Krishna consciousness. And then we may start pulling. That may, then we bring him to Krishna. We may give him book, we may give him prasad, we may call him to temple, we may register him for 6-session course. So all these things exclusively for connecting him to Krishna. So that is fine. But otherwise, unnecessarily one should not speak about mundane subject matters. Prabhupada would even avoid speaking, let's say the fan is on in the room and Prabhupada did not want, Prabhupada wanted it to be switched off. So any devotee who came, Prabhupada would indicate like this. That means fan, it's rotating, he understand, like this means, not that destroyed, switch it off. So the devotee would put it off like that. So Prabhupada would not unnecessarily speak. Even in prasadam, we speak so much during prasadam. It becomes, sometimes devotees tell me also that that devotee wants to talk to you. When you are taking prasad, can he come? I said, no, during prasadam, no question. We should not talk. But anyway, we end up talking many times. Prabhupada's record, though the founder Acharya of International Society, he never spoke during his meals. Very peacefully he would relish every bite. Krishna has appeared in the form of this prasad. Let me relish it. just a personal interview, personal meeting with Krishna in the form of prasadam. He is founder Acharya, 108 temples all over the world, and he is not speaking. And we are like, 108 centers. What center? There's nothing there. Many times just shifting devotees from here to that new place where we want to preach, and nobody from local place is ready to join. We will from here there. I have gone through all that. One of the second top college of Pune, VIT, Vishwakarma Institute of Technology. Rajesh Amru wanted preaching there to happen. So he appointed me as the preacher. And I was simultaneously going to IIT Kharagpur. IIT Kharagpur, other part of India, almost east of India. And here in Pune for whatever 15 days I remain, I'm in charge for that VIT college. And there I was preaching, a very tough college. Radhesham Prabhu tried, after him, Prem Nidhi Prabhu tried, Krishna Kishore Prabhu tried, all great stalwarts had tried. And then small fellow like me, I was put there. And simultaneously I have to go to IIT Kharagpur with Chetan Prabhu. 12 days going and staying there. Coming, going takes 33 hours. So 15 days out, 15 days here. And then in I visit, I came back and then I saw one flat was rented and library, all the books of Prabhupada, 3-4 devotees were shifted. Another brahmachari assistant to me was there. I'm wondering where are the boys? The big force. But where are the people from that college? A very tough thing. So that's fine, our inspiration, our eagerness to preach. But that is the thing. So these are some don'ts about speech, some do's also about speech. We already discussed intermittently in between. But if we discuss about Krishna, tasya rutaya kshanonita uttama shloka vartaya. Uttama shlok, Lord is glorified only in choice poetry. Uttama shlok. So that's why he should be glorified. He says in the last chapter, 13th chapter of 12th canto, first verse only, he says, Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutai Stunvanti Divyaistavai Vede Sanga Padakrama Upanishader Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam Navidu Sura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha. So even Brahma, Shiva, Rudra, Maruta, Indra, all demigods are glorifying the Lord. Yam Brahma, Varunendra, Rudra, Marutai, Stunvanti Divaistavai, Divyastav. In great choice poetry, they glorify the Lord. We have in the Bhagavatam itself so many hundreds of prayers by great personalities, stalwarts like Brahma, Shiva, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj. Krishna is glorified in such choice poetry. Such shlokas are there. One word is so powerful, so sweet, and such amazing words are there. Krishna only deserves such glorification, and he is aptly described by all pure souls in Srimad Bhagavatam. So we should read these verses, we should hear, and we should recite to others also. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha drudavratah namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Satatam kirtayanto mam. My devotees always glorify me. Satatam. There's no stopping. 24 hours Krishna should be spoken. Macchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Macchitta, my devotees' lives are dedicated to me. Madgata prana, macchitta, their minds are fixed on me. Macchitta, madgata prana, their lives are dedicated to me. Macchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam. Bodhayanta means preaching, enlightening one another. So it's very important. One enlightening. Speech is one thing, but enlightenment is different thing. That means one's knowledge only does not, just knowledge does not increase, but inspiration to know about Krishna also increases. It's such a boost in life, in heart, and in brain also. Brain requires conviction. Intelligence requires conviction. So that comes by hearing about the glories of the Lord. Bodhayanta is that, and then Kathayanta is talking, conversing about me. Bodhayanta paraswaram, Kathayantasya mam nityam, Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. That way the devotees relish Krishna consciousness and they please each other. Devotee association is so amazing and so pleasing when we discuss about Krishna. If we discuss about ourselves and mundane subject matter, then it is not pleasing. It is polluting our hearts. But we should discuss about Krishna. Also in the Bhagavad Gita only Krishna says, Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priyam hitam chayat swadhyaya bhyasanam chaiva vangmayam tapo uchyate. The austerity of the speech, austerity of the mind, austerity of the speech, and austerity of the actions. He speaks all three austerities in the, I think, 14th chapter. So it says anudvegam. The speech should be such that it doesn't agitate others. Udveg. Udgata vega iti udveg. It's too agitating. So it should not be like that. Anudvega. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam. The speech should be based on truth. That's why we should speak about Krishna, who is absolute truth. Param satya. The satya of this world keeps changing. Just like some 2-3 years back, satya was COVID, coronavirus. Satya. Be careful. Do haath ki duri, mask hai zaruri. Keep 2 hands distance from others and you wear mask and every now and then sanitize, use sanitizer. So that was Satya, which whatever that 2020, 21. Now what? Now it is Asatya. That has no relevance now. So Satya of this world is not so important. Okay, that time was just keeping our body safe for the service of the Lord, we might have spoken. But otherwise, it is not all-time truth. All-time truth is only Krishna. So that's why one should speak about Krishna. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priyam. It should be pleasing also. We should speak in a very pleasing way. Then hitam, it should be beneficial also to the person. And swadhyaya bhyasanam, that means regularly reciting Vedic literature. That's why Srila Prabhupada wanted Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sarvabhaum courses. Because otherwise devotees, as they grow in their seniority, they'll be only into management, this service, that service. And many times when Krishna is not there in center and not hearing much about Krishna, then the lubrication is not there in our relationships. That lubricant makes the machine parts very nicely connected with each other. Otherwise, without enough lubrication, then there is so much of wear and tear, then sparks. So even among devotees there are fights when there is less Krishna Katha, Krishna Kirtan among them. So every now and then they have to come together. Morning program was also designed for that reason only. So that devotees come together in front of their lordships and chant, dance, hear, take charanamrit, circumambulate the deities. So all these devotional activities, when devotees come together and do, then their Krishna prem will increase and their envy for each other will reduce. Only when we discuss about Krishna, our envy will reduce, and when we speak about mundane subject matters, then our envy will increase. So by all means, devotees have to participate in these activities. Swadhyaya bhasanam chaiva vangmayam tapo uchyate. This is the austerity of the speech that is recommended in Bhagavad Gita by Krishna himself. Then also about Ambarish Maharaj it is said, Savai mana Krishna padara vindayor vacham suvaikuntha gunanu varnane. First is about his mind, which was fixed on the lotus feet of Krishna. Immediately second thing is saying, Savai mana Krishna padara vindayor vachamsi vaikuntha gunanu varnane. If the mind is fixed on Krishna, what is the concomitant next subsequent function? That is vachamsi vaikuntha gunanu varnane. Anu varnane, not varnane. Varnan means describing. Anu varnane means constantly describing. Anu means one after the other. Anuja, born after. So varnan after varnan after varnan after varnan is anu varnan. Vachamsi vaikuntha gunanu varnane. His speech was always glorifying the Lord of Vaikuntha. His name is also Vaikuntha. Lord, one of the names is Vaikuntha. Then about Nityambru it is said, about if we speak about Nityambru, Nityananda bolite hoya Krishna premoday. If only we say loudly, Nityananda! So there will be upsurge of love. Prem uday. Prem will rise from the heart. Prem is there. Krishna Prem is in our heart anyway. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabunai. Krishna Prem is not to be gained from outside. It is already there in our hearts. But it is covered over by Maya's layers, Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamogun, and so many anarthas. So when these anarthas are uncovered and layers, Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamogun are over, then the Prem will manifest. Because Prem is there in the heart. So that has to be manifested, especially by chanting Nityananda's name. Nityananda bolita hai Krishna Premodoy. And about Gaurang Mahaprabhu also it is said. He says, Gaurange Ramadhu Lila Jare karne praveshila. Rudaya nirmal. I changed the tune, that's why it is going different. What is that beginning? Gaurange raduti pada. Era duti pada. Gaurangera madhulila. Jare karne praveshila. Hृदया निर्मला भेलोतार. Hृदया निर्मला भेलोतार. So Gaurangera Madhulila, when we hear the sweet pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jare Karane Praveshila, in one whose ears the Gauranga Katha, Krishna Chaitanya Katha has entered, Hृदया Nirmala Bhelotar, his heart will be purified. So we should hear about Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastimes and we should chant his name. Bhaja Gaurango, Kaho Gaurango, Laho Gaurangera Namare, Ye Jana Gaurango Bhaje, Se Hoy Amara Pranare. Nityamru would wander in the streets of Navadip and request everyone, Bhaja Gaurango, worship Gauranga. Kaho Gaurango, chant Gauranga! Kaho Gauranga, Laho Gaurangera Namare. Keep chanting Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. Non-stop. Like that. Anyway, the Gauranga Mahaprabhu said chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That would be nice. And positively in Srimad Bhagavatam again, first chapter only, he is saying Tadvag Visargo Janataga Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abadhyavatyapi Namanyanantasya Yashankitaniyat Shranvanti Gayanti Grananti Sadhava. This is positive side of the speech. That on the contrary, that literature which is filled with the name, fame, qualities, pastimes of the Lord is heard and sung and glorified by those who are thoroughly honest. Tadvag Visargo, it creates a revolution in the impious lives of the world's misdirected civilization. We see Prabhupada's books, very powerful. Today morning when I was sitting, I was looking at that shelf. I think it seems like Prabhupada's books are there. So powerful. And they are to create the revolution in the impious lives of the world's misdirected civilization. So many books are there in the society. If you go and see at any book stall, I got all varieties of books are there, all nonsense, not leading to Krishna, Param Satya. Temporary Satya is talked, or many false things are also, imaginary things are spoken. And people who just for the time pass keep purchasing and keep reading. There are crossword puzzles also. In childhood, we also wasted time on such thing. Just time pass. In the train, you have 1.5 hours. Just purchase one newspaper, all the, what they call? Crossword puzzle. This word, and then you have to give equivalent word in that language. Some vocabulary increase, which is helpful in giving classes now, but otherwise it was colossal waste of time. One should be careful not to waste one's time. About Srila Prabhupada, it is said that personality who spoke on so many different subject matters so elaborately, he breathed his last. It is there in that Your Ever Elveshwar movie. And that originally is Bhagavatam verse for Bhishma. When he was lying on the bed of arrows, Makar Sankranti time, that is the time Krishna took all the Pandavas with him, because Yudhishthira Maharaj was quite concerned that because of me, for installing me on the royal throne of Hastinapur, such huge war was fought in which 64 crore people died. So many women became widows, so many children became orphans, and so much of sinful reaction will come to me. So in order to pacify him, Krishna spoke, Vyasdev spoke, nobody to convince him. Ultimately Krishna took him to Bhishma, and Bhishma convinced him that this was required, this was Dharma Yuddha, no sin will be incurred, no sin has been incurred by you, don't worry. So there Bhishma Dev, he speaks Rajadharma, Kula Dharma, Stri Dharma, so many dharmas he speaks, and ultimately he glorifies Krishna also. That this Krishna, Eshavai Bhagwan Sakshat Adyo Narayana Puman, he is even origin of Lord Narayan. So please know his glory. And then it is said that he kept mum. He did not open his mouth. He glorified. All that was to be done, he did it. Then he kept quiet and then he looked at the lotus feet of Krishna and then he left. Then it is said that personality who spoke on so many different subject matters so elaborately, he kept mum, he kept quiet. So Vachovek is the first way, and we don't understand how we keep speaking. Perfection of speech is to always speak about Krishna. Then once His Holiness Bhakti Rasama Swami Maharaj was telling one, I don't know whether it's true story or joke, but he told that once one doctor was visited by a patient and he was surprised to see on the doctor's table there are several thermometers there. So the patient asked that doctor, one patient comes at a time, you'll put it in his mouth to check what is the fever, temperature, etc. Why so many thermometers are here? So the doctor said to that patient that as soon as any patient comes, I tell them put that thermometer in your mouth and that way they will stop their blah 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 blah. Otherwise, as the patient comes, they keep speaking among themselves. So much of prajalpa. So everybody has to put thermometer in mouth. So they will think that maybe temperature is being checked, but actually the main reason is they should keep quiet. That is the reason. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said the urge to speak, if not controlled, it leads to envy. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's original statement. Vaira. Facebook is also telling others about what is on your mind. So people have their on Facebook and other things. Kalaha begins from criticism. Kali Yuga means Kalha Yuga. Kali Yuga, Kalha Yuga. And that it begins with criticism. One person will speak ill about others and other person will speak more than. So Maharaj was telling that devotee community is devotee culture. What does it mean by a devotee community? We have so many communities. Every ISKCON temple is like a community. So community means culture. So what all consists of culture? What all things decide culture? Food. There is a food culture. Different countries, different societies, different caste people, different all that. There are food culture. Then there is dress culture. From culture, dress also we can make out. What's the culture? Language also decides culture. Music, dance, then literature, architecture, social dealings, agriculture. So all these things are part of culture. So what is culture? So he was telling cult tilling or care, refinement, worship that is tending for something. That is culture. Then he was saying how the sport is the culture of Australia, it seems. Education is culture of some big institutes like MIT, Harvard, and many others, Cambridge, etc. Sometimes some places, cities themselves are dedicated to so-called education. When I was in Coimbatore, I asked one of the boys in the bus, so how many colleges are there? He was student of engineering college. So I thought there may be 5, 6 engineering colleges in Coimbatore. So he said more than 60 colleges are there, engineering colleges. I was shocked. 60, more than 60. In Bangalore also, maybe more than, bigger than Coimbatore is Bangalore. How many? Huh? Minimum? 150. 150 engineering colleges. So much scope is there for preaching. Get there. So culture of education. So he was talking about Sanskriti, kru, dhatu, is to do. So many things he was talking. Prakruti, Sanskriti and Vikruti. Like Prakriti is basic nature of a thing. Just like if we take the basic nature of one thing, like wood. Wood is the basic nature. Sanskriti is refined nature. That is making a statue out of the wood. Wood is there, so much wood is there. But then you take a wood and you make Sanskriti. The sculptor, he does that carving and all that, and bring about a huge, very nice statue. That is Sanskriti. And Vikruti is degraded nature. Prakriti, basic nature, Sanskriti, refined nature, and Vikruti, degraded nature. And that is breaking the statue. Sometimes children may throw it here and people may also break out of anger, etc. So, Prakriti, Sanskriti, and Vikruti. So, another example about prasadam or food. On time taking food and proper quality also. That is Prakriti. Then Sanskriti is prasad, taking only Krishna Prasad, that is Sanskriti. Refined nature. And then Vikruti is eating anytime, anything comes in front of us, just gulp it down. So that is Vikruti. So he was telling that we should be heading from Vikruti to Prakruti to Sanskruti. Earlier, if you see all of us, many of us might be eating at any time, anything. I don't know. Once I was traveling in the train, 1:30 in the night somewhere, some light. I was on the upper berth only. Somebody had switched on the tube, and I was wondering what is this so much light. I opened my mouth, eyes, and I was watching. Then I looked in my watch. What is the time? It was 1:30 in the night, midnight. So I was wondering who switched on the light. So I saw below one Muslim lady was there with her huge children number, huge some 5 6 children she had, and they were all eating. I was wondering what is she eating? Is she eating the dinner of previous night or the breakfast of next morning at 1:30 in the night? So what 1:30 in the night people eat? So that is Vikruti, eating anything anytime. But Prakruti means on time. People eating food. There are people in the mode of goodness. They will eat appropriate food and at proper times. But Sanskriti means taking Krishna Prasadam with devotees while hearing about Krishna. So that is Sanskriti. So we should move from Vikruti to Prakruti to Sanskriti. Sometimes there may be as devotees we take only prasad, but the times are not fixed. Random here, there. We skip the meals or we eat, overeat. So that is also not so good. One should regulate his life. So that helps us to become Krishna conscious or pure devotees. Culture of speech. In Bhagavad Gita also 2.54, 54th verse of second chapter, Arjuna asks Krishna, Sthita pragyasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthitadhim kim prabhasheta kim asita vrajeta kim. Sthita pragyasya ka bhasha. Now the discussion about Sthita pragya, Arjuna ensures this discussion. So Sthita pragya, whose intelligence is fixed, sthit, pragya, intelligence. So what is, first thing is asking, sthita pragyasya ka bhasha. What is his language? Kannada, Telugu, Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, Sanskrit, Japanese, Russian, Dutch, French. Not that way. That is just superficial word use. What is his speech? How does he speak? So Prabhupada's purport is amazing for this particular verse. So he says about different symptoms are there. Just like now during the class, if I sneeze like this, after every few minutes like that. So all of you get an idea that Prabhu has got cold like that. Or if I cough in between, if it is happening every now and then people understand that he has cough. Or if in between I do like this, I'm continuing to speak, but in between the hand goes on the head and forehead and like this. Then you understand, maybe he has headache, something like that. Or yawning maybe in between. Then you understand maybe night he did not get proper rest. So symptom reveals of the what's happening with a person. So Prabhupada says speech is the important quality of any person. As a rich man has his symptoms by which he is known as a rich man. Rich man, he will not be wearing clothes with holes here and there and stitched cloth is there. His clothes not only will be without, free from stitching and holes, etc., but they will be very high class, high quality, very, looking at the clothes only you understand, oh, very rich man. And then he says, as a diseased man has his symptoms by which he is known as disease, or as a learned man has his symptoms. So a man in transcendental consciousness of Krishna has specific symptoms in various dealings. One can know his specific symptoms from the Bhagavad Gita. Most important is how the man in Krishna consciousness speaks. Most important, Prabhupada is saying. Most important is how the man in Krishna consciousness speaks. For speech is the most important quality of any man. Man, woman, any man. That's the point. Speech. How do you speak? Next he's saying, it is said that a fool is undiscovered as long as he does not speak. And certainly a well-dressed fool cannot be identified unless he speaks. But as soon as he speaks, he reveals himself at once. The immediate symptom of a Krishna conscious man is that he speaks only of Krishna and of matters relating to Krishna. Other symptoms then automatically follow as stated below. So once one scholarly person, one Vaishnava was one so-called scholarly person, Sarpanch, he was the head of the village, he was pretending to be a great knower of Sanskrit, and he would speak in Sanskrit with normal villagers also. And nobody knew Sanskrit, so they would think, wow, my God, such a Pandit scholar like that. After some days, one Vaishnava came to that village, and then he knew Sanskrit also. So then people saw, hey, he also knows Sanskrit. So let us have debate. Sarpanch was told that, a great learned Vaishnava has come to our place. So why not have debate? And he said, yes, yes, I will prove to him how great scholar I am. So then the meeting was arranged, the debate, and all villages had gathered to see who wins. Whether our Sarpanch is more scholarly in Sanskrit or that Vaishnava is. Like that. So then he said, okay, begin the debate. So that Vaishnava asked, Kastwam, just to get introduced to each other. Kastwam, who are you? So he said, Kastwam, Kastwam, Ghastwam, Khastwam, Mastwam, Jastwam, Tastwam, Chastwam, Thastwam, all alphabets and followed by Twam, Kastwam, Ghastwam, Khastwam, Chastwam, Mastwam. And people thought, my God, he said only one thing, Kastwam. And our Sarpanch has so many replies, so many answers in all. Khastwam, Ghastwam. People were all fools, they did not understand what's happening there. But Vaishnava was thinking, what fool he is. Huh? My question is not answered only, and he's saying Khastwam, Ghastwam, Jastwam, Mastwam, Dastwam. He's a fool number one. So then Vaishnava said, sorry, Hare Krishna. I am defeated. And people thought, wow, this is it. How scholarly is our Sarpanch. So they say, na, murkhon ke muh nahi lagna chahiye. Don't waste your time with the fools. So that fellow was egoistic fellow. He did not know anything of Sanskrit. And answer is completely vague. It is not answer at all. And people were thinking, wow. So one should not participate in such discussions. We see Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami when they were residing in Vrindavan Dham, and one big such scholar called Rup Narayan came with the sole intention of defeating Rupa Goswami. So he came and directly challenged that I heard that you are the greatest scholars of Vrindavan Dham, so I challenge you for a debate. Then immediately Rup Sanatan humbly said, oh no, 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 why should you waste your time? See, we are not such great scholars. Who told you that we are scholars? So now I have heard from so many people, that you are great scholars. And no, no, no. These Vrindavan villagers are very simple villages. They are very simple. They are many times illiterate. So they know nothing. So they think that we are scholars. We are not scholars. Actually, you are the scholar. He said, no, no, you have to debate and I have to defeat you and I have to take your signature that you have been defeated by me. They said, we will sign wherever you want. Where you want our sign. Then he immediately produced the paper, Digvijay Patra. And he said, here. They said, okay. They did not even read the matter above. They wrote Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami took Sanatana Goswami. And he was saying, wow, great. So easily I defeated without a debate only. So such kind of fools one should not like that. One should not debate and waste one's time. Okay, sorry sir. So sometimes in preaching, our ego gets hurt. Once I was distributing books in one train. I was traveling somewhere, Hyderabad. It was a little long route, Latur and all that. So I have been distributing in the trains. I had been distributing. So I went in the train, whole side, this side covered, and hardly 3-4 books went. And I was wondering, this is quite less score. So many hundreds of people are there, and generally at least 10-15 books would be distributed. Today, why only 3-4? Maybe I have become proud and Krishna is purifying me, making me humble like that. So I took it in a humble way. So I came back, not much. So I had covered the train. I came back and I came back to the same bogie where I was having my seat and the same compartment also. And just before getting on the upper berth where my seat was, I just thought these people I will give. So I showed them. And when I showed and started speaking, those people said, what is this nonsense? This war never took place, what Bhagavata you are showing. Krishna never existed and all that. I said, what are you talking, sir? And then somehow, just below there were 3 people, 2 women and 1 man. They were wearing white and white clothes. And he saw they were the leaders of this group, religious group, and this whole train was their followers only. I will not tell the name of that religion, so called. They are against Vedas. They don't believe in the Vedas. So that's why that fellow was conversing with me. Then I was telling how Kali Yuga is going on. And then he was saying, this is the end now. Now Satya Yuga will not come. Some vague philosophy they were speaking. And I was trying to convince, and that man was getting defeated by my arguments. I was quoting from here, there, so many slokas. So then their leaders, that man came, and he started debating with me, trying to defeat me, proving to his people that how this fellow's philosophy is bogus, and what our philosophy is only true, like that. So then when I was conversing, then I saw that fellow is not accepting only, he's very, very arrogant. And he's speaking all vague thing, nothing based on scriptures, no shloka, nothing. Then I said, sir, do you believe that there was this Kurukshetra, this war took place? He said, no, we don't believe. Krishna did not exist, like that. I said, what are you talking? That Kurukshetra place is still there in North India. There is a station, railway station there. He said, no, no, that is different thing. And he did not accept only. Then I understood these people are against Vedic Vedas and mad fellows. And I said, if you don't believe in Krishna and Bhagavad Gita and Kurukshetra, then I have nothing further to say. Sorry. And then immediately I went up and I kept reading Prabhupada books. So they are some particular religion in India only. They are famous outside also. But then unnecessarily our time will be wasted if we keep arguing with them. So one should avoid speaking to such people. Otherwise our time gets wasted. Urge to speak leads to speech, and that leads to enmity. Cultured means refined. So one about speech he says Prakruti is material speech, Vikruti is bad or slang speech, and Sanskriti is speaking only about Krishna. And then last point is he says wisdom means to know when to speak and when not. Just like I told this case, Rup Narayan also, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they did not waste time conversing with Rup Narayan. They just signed there. And similarly, I told about my case also. So wisdom means we should know also when not to speak. And people, it's like they say, no, if earthen pot is kept upside down on the ground and you are trying to fill it by pouring liters and liters of water, no question. Not even one drop will go inside because it is upside down. You need it like this, open pot. Then you can pour water as much as you want and as much as is the capacity of that pot. Otherwise, that is useless. So similarly, those who are not open-minded, it's a waste of our time to talk to them. So wisdom means to know when to speak and when not to speak. Certainly, the dignity of Guru Parampara is there. So we may, because other people around may misunderstand that you don't have any philosophy. Like we find in the Ramanandis in Jaipur, they challenged our Gaudiya Sampradaya that you don't have any commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. So they asked for debate. Vishnu Chakra Thakur was very sick that time. So he was wondering who will defend the position of our Gaudiya Sampradaya. So then Baldev Vidyabhushan came forward. He said, Guru Maharaj, if you bless me, I would like to go. So he went, and there they saw he's very scholarly. He was very scholarly. But then they understood that they don't have commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. So they challenged him on that point only. That if your Sampradaya, Gaudiya Sampradaya, is an authorized Sampradaya, Sampradaya has to have commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. He said there is no need. When Vyasdev has written original commentary on Vedanta Sutra in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam, so in our Gaudiya Sampradaya we don't feel the need. We just follow Vyasdev. He said, no, that cannot be the case. You have to have your own commentary. So then when he was stuck there, then Govindji came in his dream and said, you don't worry. He went to Govindji temple in Jaipur and prayed very sincerely. And Govinddev revealed to him that you don't worry, you start writing commentary. I will personally dictate to you and you just write it down. So Baldev Vidyabhushan kept writing everything that Lord Govinda dictated, and he ultimately named it as Sri Govinda Bhashya because Govinda only spoke and he just happened to write. And when he put forth that commentary to those Ramanandis, they were spellbound, they were defeated beyond their imagination. What a commentary! Lord only has written. What could be better? Maybe better than Srimad Bhagavatam, better than Vedanta Sutra also. So then they accepted their defeat, and the king and all. Radharani was kept, they were so powerful, they influenced the king, said, you cannot worship Radharani. Where in the scriptures Radharani is considered to be, is allowed to be worshipped like this. So Radharani's deity was taken away from Govindji, and backside separately she was being worshipped in a hidden way, hidingly. How much challenge. So there Baldev Vidyabhushan defeated and established the supremacy of Gaudiya Sampradaya to the extent that all those Ramanandis, they surrendered. And they were taking initiation from him. He said, no, you are already in Ramanujacharya Sampradaya. You don't need reinitiation like that. So please continue like that. But they at least appreciated that Gaudiyam Sampradaya is so amazing. So we should know also when to speak, when not to speak. Here it is said, Maharaj Prutu's speech was very beautiful, full of metaphorical language, clearly understandable, and very pleasing to hear. His words were all grave and certain. It appears that when he spoke, he expressed his personal realization of the absolute truth in order to benefit all who were present. So we should ask whether what I am speaking is truth or not, it's kind or not, it's beneficial or not. Three things generally they say. It should be truth only, it should not be false, lies, etc. It should be kind. Priyam Bruyat. Speak in a kind way. And is it benefiting others or not? Unnecessarily is not required. Some things are not benefiting only. So better keep quiet. Sometimes we want to know, that's okay. But otherwise, if you don't want to know, then at least let it be beneficial to others. It's just wasting of our time. These are some things about speech. Any question? First of all, the speech, too much talkative nature is also because of having many material desires. Even brahmacharis who are not fully engaged, they will be too talkative. One thing a brahmachari will face is talking too much, prajalpa. Another is eating too much because they want to do so many things. Passion is their young body, so a lot of passion to do many things. And here is Brahminical culture, as in the temple and all, as especially as a brahmachari, the sadhu. Sadhu means Brahminical culture. Certainly we have some challenges, challenging situation, challenging services, but still not so challenging like outside world, adventurous and all that. You can have once in a year mountaineering, you can go somewhere. Govardhan we cannot climb, but maybe Tirumala hills you can go. But Delhi also you may not be able to go. So then we will tend to speak a lot and tend to eat a lot. When we have material desires in the heart, it comes out, it is seen through eating too much because you feel accomplished. Yes, at least I ate so much. Though I could not preach to many and get many followers like that devotee. At least I ate so much. Okay, I am also great. He cannot eat like I ate, like that also. That is one problem. Another is speaking also. He cannot do, so he'll keep speaking. So, so that should not be done. What was your question again?
How it will increase our envy.
So when we keep speaking, because you are not speaking meaningful thing, you are not speaking about Krishna, somehow your original problem of material desires or enmity towards others will come forth. It will come through your mouth. It will get into Prajalpa zone and then eventually it will get into criticism zone. Somehow it will start. If you keep speaking, speaking about Krishna is unlimited, but if you don't know much about Krishna, then it will get into that direction only. And then the enmity will increase, envy will increase, because speaking ill about the other devotee. A certain amount of envy is already present. And if you keep speaking, then it will increase. That's why he is saying, Krishna, yesterday we discussed, Paraswabhava karmani na prashanset na gariyat. Don't criticize or don't glorify. So how do you glorify? Mainly through speech. In the mind, how will I glorify? In the mind, how will I criticize? That is not known to others. In my action, how will I glorify? In action, I can max, pat on his back, like that. Glorification is mainly through speech. Criticism is also, in the mind, criticism nobody else knows. And body, it is not called criticism, it is called attack only. If you beat a devotee or something like that, that is attack in one sense. But criticism or glorification is through speech. So one should not do it. In fact, you can read also 11:28, 1 and 2, what Krishna is telling. How it takes one deeper in the material illusory potency. The chapter is only Gyan Yoga. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Parasvabhava Karmani na prashanset na garhayet Vishwam ekamakam pashan prakrutya purushena cha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one should neither praise nor criticize the conditioned nature and activities of other persons. Rather, one should see this world as simply the combination of material nature and the enjoying souls, all based on the one absolute truth. The next sloka he says, परस्वभाव कर्माणि यः प्रशंसति निन्दति स आशु भ्रश्यते स्वार्थात् असति अभिनिवेशतः. Whoever indulges in praising or criticizing the qualities and behavior of others will quickly become deviated from his own best interest by his entanglement in illusory dualities. So he will get into that. Not still clear, no? See, envy is there in the heart, but it can be increased and decreased also. Envy can be decreased by glorifying the Lord. But when we don't glorify the Lord and still continue to speak, then we will be getting into, so to say, externally glorifying a person. That is also out of envy many times. People, politicians, in political field, you can see all those followers, you know, sir, aap itna mahan, ye, but then internally is thinking, how can I get his post? Even people, when you have new car, they will, neighbors will say, oh, your car is so nice, but in the heart they are burning and thinking, this fellow, how did he get so much money? Where from? Why are I am not getting so much money? I want a better car than him. So the envy is there. So if you keep speaking, which is not about Krishna, eventually that enmity within will come out. And the envy will further increase by speaking about it. That's why scriptures recommend not speaking about mundane subject matters. Yes, any other? Hare Krishna.
So this verse from last canto, this good and bad, both we should not talk Christian. There is good and bad. Bad we can understand, but not appreciate.
There also you may have your hidden agenda, like I was telling you just now. The politicians, you know, they will glorify and all that. So there also your enmity is there. So that's why speak on transcendental plane and glorify him in relationship to Krishna. Krishna is a samsarakari. Like a politician comes here, so we can say, sir, you are so glorious, you have come to understand Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You understand he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the boss of all bosses. So that way is okay. That you appreciate and understand the glories of the Lord. Otherwise, just like that, if you speak, then you have some selfish agenda to fulfill from him. So that becomes materialistic talk again.
Generally, we are told that we should appreciate devotees.
But spiritually we appreciate, na?
But most of the time, it happens that
We don't appreciate devotee. Oh Prabhu, yours is the costliest kurta and dhoti. No devotee can purchase so much. We don't. That is mundane appreciation.
like even then, like some of the qualities, all that coming to a person based on their swabhava. Correct. Now, some may be very humble. It may be like swabhava, nature of the person. It may not be like complete on a spiritual path. And some are very obedient. Some are very extending. All may be coming through a.
But they are using now in Krishna service. See, earlier when they were in outside world, they were using for their own materialistic reasons. Now they are using that same thing in the service of the Lord. So that can be appreciated. Any other? That's not on.
You mentioned that when there is less, Krishna Tatra is not happening. Lubrication becomes less. How is that?
Yeah, Krishna is only butter, no? He's like soft like butter. So that lubricant has to be there. Maya will otherwise karshati. Why is he saying karshati? What is that? Prakriti sthani karshati. What is the beginning? Amay vamshaloke jivaloke jiva bhuta sanatanaha anashashtani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. So when material nature is in between you and me, then there will be karshati only. There will be friction between us. Because you want to satisfy your selfish agenda and I will want to satisfy my own selfish agenda. There will be only, in the beginning we may say, so nice of you, Prabhu, and you may say, you so nice. But eventually, because we have our inner hidden agenda, which are selfish, materialistic, only karshan will be there. There will only friction, sparks, and wear and tear. So the lubrication is required in the relationship. The lubricant is only Krishna. Because when Krishna is in center, then only, that's why the family which prays together, stays together. Or in a pond, you throw one stone here, the ripples, they go all around. Another stone here, then they go, and the clashing happens. But in one place only you keep throwing the stone, then the ripples, they don't have clashing. So when Krishna is the center, then there is no problem. Enmity goes away. Just like you can see this Ratnakar highway dacoit. When Lord Ram came, then in his mouth, then he gave up his enmity. He stopped killing people. He stopped harassing and looting people. So when Krishna comes, all nice things happen. When Krishna is not there, to that degree problem in the relationship, any relationship, there will be problem. He is the lubricant. It makes very smooth relation. Even that much chitta madgata prana. Their lives are dedicated to me, they converse about me, and they take pleasure in discussing about me. So where Krishna, Krishna, Krishna only, then tushyanti cha, ramanti cha. Because that is devotional service. Srimati Radharani is very pleasing. Whenever we are trying to serve Krishna in any way, one of the 9 ways, that is Srimati Radharani manifested, Bhakti Devi. Bhakti Devi is a lady, goddess, who is Srimati Radharani's expansion. Srimati Radharani herself is the personification of Bhakti, but apart from that, there is Bhakti Devi also. So when that happens, then there is lubrication. Otherwise, so much of friction. Like we stay here, so many of us together in a dormitory and all that. Not a problem because Krishna is in center. The moment Krishna is not in center, even in nuclear family, husband, wife, only two of them, both very educated, beautiful looking, moneyed people, but then so much of tug of war, so much of friction there. So Krishna has to be there in the middle. Krishna only makes all relationships smooth. Our original relationship with Him only. Even Prabhupada talks about universal brotherhood. People who are so magnanimous, so to say, that even Hindi, Chinese, and all Russian, we are all brothers. But then they send animals to slaughterhouse because they can't see the soul there, soul who is part and parcel of Krishna. So they cannot establish universal brotherhood. Prabhupada talks about UNO also, United Nations Organization. There is to have a unity and peace in the nation. But every year the number of flags are increasing. That means the fights are increasing within the nation only. And nation divides into two. And the Soviet, earlier former USSR, such a giant. And then now it's disintegrated. So when Krishna is not in center, Prabhupada said ours is real United Nations. We had that world record, Guinness Book of World Record, defeating even Narendra Modi's earlier record. 106 countries devotees coming together and doing one activity, devotional activity, whatever. So that's how, isn't it?
And adding to that, suppose individual devotees are completely dedicated to service themselves, but still there can be darshan.
They may be appearing dedicated, but with a wrong attitude, approving themselves to be great, so powerful. Then there will be friction will be there. There will be envy and enmity. Just like even earlier book distributors, some of them, that devotee came back. What is your score? Oh, he has distributed more books. So in the midnight only he is going to distribute books to have bigger score than him, or puncturing the cycle of that person, or stealing his chappals, so that he cannot go out only for book distribution. His delay will be there. So I will go in the immediately because my chappal is there, and I will distribute more books. So this is on the wrong premises. You understand? So that is Ganishta Adhikari. Ganishta Adhikari's heart is filled with envy to great extent. But krame krame seho bhakta hoibe uttam. Yahara komala shraddha se kanishta jan, krame krame seho bhakta hoy uttam. Slowly he will get rid of envy and he will become uttam adhikari, pure devotee of the Lord. But for that Krishna has to be there in his life. He has to be protected by madhyam adhikaris and uttam adhikaris. Else enmity can increase also. Even within ISKCON, we find sometimes couples get married and then there is divorce. Why? Because Krishna is not there in their lives. Or devotees, brahmacharis, they fight. Sometimes Gaurang Prabhu once directly said, why there are so many ISKCON temples? Because in a city, two leaders fight. One leader says, going, he goes to another city, new ISKCON temple. ISKCON gets one more temple. But if you go into the root is the fight in the leaders. They cannot stay together. Prabhupada also saw that nature is there, devotees are not so mature. So he also sent leaders here, there, everywhere. Because in one cave, two lions, it's difficult. So send him to another place, he'll dig one cave and he'll stay there. Let us increase the number of caves. And lions are anyway there. Otherwise, these lions will fight with each other and they'll kill each other. So better separate them. Is that okay? Any other? Okay. I think I have spoken a lot. Now time for Mauna Vrat. So thank you all very much. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaura Bhaktaranda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi.